want to gather together, but most of our people don't agree about anything. They argue about who's the best rapper, Jay-Z or Nas. Who's the best basketball player, LeBron or Michael Jordan? We argue about every daggone thing, except, brother, why you ain't keeping the commandments of God? Sister, why you don't know that Jesus Christ is black? Brother, why you cut your beard off? Sister, why you have a dress on? Let's start getting back into dealing according to the commandments of God. To hell with who's the best NFL draft. To hell with who's the best NBA basketball player, the best rapper, the best actress, which woman got the best BDL. We don't give a damn about that. They'll take your money back and put their children through college, but none of them will trade places with you. Because why? We've been robbed so much, we have almost next to nothing to offer back to the world. What do we produce as a people? Nothing. Nothing. Because we can make the music, we don't determine if it goes out or not. Because all the streaming apps is not ours. All the record labels is not ours. The distribution is not ours. We have to go to them for everything. Make sense? So let's read that again.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
How you doing, bro?
They are all of them snared in holes.
It says they're all snared in holes. A snare is a trap. Where do young brothers pitch drugs? In what? Wait a minute. Hold on. God says we're robbed, we're spoiled, and then we're in the trap. Huh. That sounded kind of accurate. Let's keep reading.
And they are hid in prison houses.
Where are the children of Israel going to be hidden?
In prison houses.
What do we say the number 1 and number 2 in the jails are? Wait a minute. God is talking about all people.
That's right.
Y'all understand that? So this is something that, let me ask you a question. What would be the reason why we fill prison houses? What are we breaking? Auntie, I heard it. I heard a little bit, Auntie. Say it. Oh, praises to the Lord. Damn. Because we're breaking God's laws. So understand this. If our people kept God's laws, they would not have to worry about the white man's laws. Because where did the white man get that? It's a crime to kill. From where, Auntie? From the Bible. Let's prove that. Exodus chapter 20. It's like verse 13. Exodus 20 verse 13. Let's see what God says.
Exodus chapter 20 verse 13. Thou shalt not kill.
Wait a minute. So if we kept God's laws, would we have to be running from the police because they think we murdered somebody? No. Now, I'm not saying every brother that's incarcerated is guilty. I'm not saying that. But I'm talking about the general populace of our people, not only in Kansas. We scattered into the 4 corners of the earth through slavery for breaking God's commandments. So when we break God's commandments, God sends a punisher. God doesn't come out the sky himself and spanks you on the behind. No, according to Psalms chapter 17, he sends the other nations to punish us. That's what we don't understand. He sends the other nationalities to punish us. So that's why, have you ever seen a Chinese Trayvon Martin situation? No, you haven't. Why? Why? Aren't they more than us? That's what they say, right? According to the census. They're more than so-called African Americans. There's like 20 billion of them jokers over there. Why is it, isn't it a greater probability for it to happen in a place where there's a higher population? But no, you ain't never hear about that. How about an Eric Gardner or Sandra Bland? Ever? Japanese guy? Ever choked out by police? Ever? I saw a Chinese man pulled off a United Airline. United Airline, they dragged him off. Guess what? United Airline wrote an apology and donated to a fund for him.
Damn.
Why? Because they all stuck together and said, if you don't fix this, no Asian person is flying on United Airline anymore. Can black people do that? Nope. Our sister was beaten in a beauty salon, right in Oklahoma. Some brothers in the community went and stood for them. Picketed. Guess what the sisters did? They cussed those brothers out for standing up for them. We are destroyed as a people. Even when help comes your way, we've we've gone without help for so long, we don't know what help even looks like.
Damn.
You're looking at the help. You're looking at the saviors according to God. That's what you're looking at right now. Give me that. Zephaniah 2:1, real quick. To further answer your question. So we know the prisons are filled because we're breaking God's commandments. Now you might think, okay, that brother didn't murder that person. He was at school, or he was doing this, or he was at football practice. But that football practice was on the Sabbath of the Lord. He was eating unclean food. So we as a people have to come back to the commandments. Then if the police come for us, if the magistrate comes for us, we were blameless in the act. We're blameless in the eyes of God, and we're blameless in the eyes of this society. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Go ahead. You have something else you want to say?
Yeah, it's like with like the organization that I work with, we're more so like trying to reimagine what the world looks like without police, so we don't have to like have people who are like, you know, stricken by like poverty submit to like crime. So how can we like come together as a people and like reimagine that?
Okay, very good. So I'll call this Zephaniah 2:1. So you want to reimagine certain things. Now, I want you to think about this. I made a statement. A large populace of the brothers and sisters in prison did commit some sort of crime. Do I agree that sometimes police trump up charges? Resisting arrest, evading, they add stuff to it sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes, right? But those brothers and sisters were involved in something to get attention drawn to them, right? So there is some law being broken. Then when they run from the police, charges get added onto it, correct? That's how it goes. Okay, read that.
Zephaniah chapter 2 verse 1.
Come on.
Gather yourselves together.
What does God say to do?
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Here's something that we all have to do, imagine, and believe when we gather together. We are a people that's not desired.
That's right.
When we move into a neighborhood, what do white folks do? They do what? Wait a minute. But I thought you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're an upstanding citizen. Why would they move with such pillars of the community move into their white neighborhoods? Read that last part again.
O nation not desired.
Nobody wants to be us. They don't care about your social standard. They don't care about your economic standard. As all they see is a nigga with money.
That's right.
All they see is a nigga that can run fast.
That's right.
If you ain't entertaining them, they want nothing to do with you.
That's right.
If you ain't making them money, they want no parts of you. And even when you're making them money, they want no parts of you.
That's right.
God says we'll gather together. But you must understand we're a nation of people that's not desired by anybody as far as the eye can see, even our own. Our own people don't want to gather together. Why? Because you got to keep God's commandments? No, I got to believe in Ishtar. I got to believe in Muhammad. I got to believe in Easter. I got to believe in Christianity. Christianity is the biggest lie taught to our people. Islam is is the second biggest lie taught to our people. Amos chapter 3 verse 3. So, in the gathering together, God even gives us stipulations on how we can gather together. That's a good thing that we gather together, right, sister? You want unity. Look at all these purple shirts. We understand what unity is. We're out here trying to be an example to our people about unity. Guess what? You don't have to rob a bank. What we're going to do together, because we're keeping God's commandments, here's what we're going to do. We're going to invest and help you build up your business. We're going to be patrons to your business. It's not going to be on the Sabbath day because you know God's laws. So we're going to come and support your business all throughout the week. Every day that's not a Sabbath day. And you don't have to worry about going out of business. We understand that? So let's read that real quick.
Amos chapter 3 verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed?
So we want to gather together, but most of our people don't agree about anything. They argue about who's the best rapper, Jay-Z or Nas. Who's the best basketball player, LeBron or Michael Jordan. We argue about every daggone thing. Except, brother, why you ain't keeping the commandments of God? Sister, why you don't know that Jesus Christ is black? Brother, why you cut your beard off? Sister, why you have a dress on? Let's start getting back into dealing according to the commandments of God. To hell with who's the best NFL draft. To hell with who's the best NBA basketball player, the best rapper, the best actress, which woman got the best BDL. We don't give a damn about that. Look at the state of our people in Kansas City. To the point where organizations have to come about to try to bring some kind of reform to our people. But guess what? God talks about reform. We read it earlier in Romans chapter 12. The reform is in our minds. Read it again. Romans 12 and 2. Romans 12 and 2.
Romans chapter 12 verse 2. And be not conformed to this world.
So what does God say to our people? Don't be conformed to this world. Right now the biggest saying is, we got to get the bag. You've heard that before? Everybody want to get the bag, but nobody asks how we get in that bag. That's how theft comes in. That's how kidnapping comes in. That's how robberies come in, because you just want the bag. Get rich or die trying, by any means necessary. That's what we're willing to do. And guess what comes at that cost? At that cost comes jail. Comes at that thick plate glass window where your mama got to sit on the other side and cry because she can't put money on your books. Why do we put our people through that? Why do we make so many motherless children out, fatherless children out here? Why are we killing our brothers out here? Why are we doing that? We're the only people that rap about who we killed.
That's right.
And people shake their ass to it.
That's right.
Pookie got shot. What's Dre got shot. And guess what? These are real crimes. Who else danced to the old destruction of their people? Give me that Hosea 4 and 6, man. Why the hell we gotta change our mind? Because God says we gotta change our mind. Read that thing. Hosea 4 verse 6, man.
Hosea chapter 4 verse 6.
Come on.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
You hear what God said? What people dance to the destruction of their own people? It's a destroyed people. People who don't have the knowledge of God. People don't understand that they're the children of Israel. People don't understand that they are princes and princesses according to the Bible. They don't understand. You don't understand your greatness, brother. I'm going to tell you that right now. Brother, you don't understand your greatness. Sister, you don't understand your greatness. Brother, you don't understand it. You don't understand it. Sisters, y'all don't understand it. Brother, you don't understand it. Auntie,
I do.
you do understand it. All praises to the Lord. Auntie got a modest dress, looking lovely out here on this hot day. All praises to the Lord. Read that thing. Head covered when the word of God coming out.
That's right.
Y'all, sister, we can take a page out of Auntie's book.
That's right.
Aunties teach us the right thing. They teach the young sisters the right thing according to Titus chapter 2. But guess what? The sisters want the man chasing the bag. The man want to see her behind out. He want to see her breast out. He want to see if she could pop it or lock it. Not if she could cook a meal. Not if she could raise his sons and daughters in the right way. Not if she could teach them the school curriculum. Teach them how to stand up for themselves and not be weak men that walk around with their heads hung low and their pants at their behinds. Nah, you gotta find out what kind of woman this is. The woman that reminds you of your auntie, of your grandma, of your great-grandma that took care of you because your mama was on drugs, your daddy was on drugs. Big mama took you in and raised you. You want a sister that could do that. Now there's no requirement. She's gotta have a big behind and a little waist. Y'all brothers is crazy as hell. Read that thing.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge,
Because you reject the commandments of God. Read.
I will also reject thee.
God said he's rejecting us as a people. Because we reject his wisdom, reject his understanding, God said he's going to reject us. But keep reading.
That thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God.
So God says we as a people have forgotten his laws. Anybody know any of God's laws? Raise your hand. Does anyone know any of God's laws? I know you know. What? Tell me something. Okay, thou shalt not covet. Okay, what you say, sis? Thou shalt not steal. Anything else? Thou shalt not lie. You say kill and steal. Very good. Now,
commit adultery.
thou shalt not commit adultery. Very good. So now, what we read, what I heard mostly was the 10 Commandments. Y'all heard of the 10 Commandments? Okay. But the Bible consists of more commandments than 10. Did y'all know that? Did you know that? You didn't know that? Okay. Because when you hear, remember we read the dietary law earlier about pig, pork, about shrimp, lobster, all of that stuff. We can't eat that stuff, auntie. I know you just got here. But according to God, we can't eat those things. They're unclean according to the Bible, right? So here's the thing. We didn't read that in Exodus 20 where the other 10 commandments are. But God says, you shall not eat. You shall eat this, but you shall not eat that. Those are also commandments, right? So let's get some more commandments today. Deuteronomy 22 verse 5. Because the sisters, y'all been high five, bang, 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 bang. Because I gave the example of auntie, right? Let's see what commandment aunties keeping that all our sisters should cleave and learn from, right? Let's see what God says.
Deuteronomy 22 and 5. The woman.
Whoa. So this part right here pertaining to you, bro. Because you're a man, right? Okay. How about you, brother? You're a man, right? Man of God. How about you, brother? You're a man. So this ain't talking about y'all. It's talking about our sisters. Because God is dealing with who? He's dealing with the men and the women. Our people cannot outrun and hide behind the trees if you're going to dodge God. God said, I'm going to take care of the man and I'm going to deal with the woman. Make sense? So right now, he's dealing with the woman first. Read that again.
The woman shall not.
Shall not is a what? A commandment. God is instructing you something you are not allowed to do. Right? You understand? Read.
Shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
So what do women wear that pertains or belongs to men? Hold on, sisters, don't answer. Men, I want y'all to answer. What do women wear that belong to men? You don't want to get yourself in trouble. Hold on. I got you. Hold on. I gotta take it in first. He's like, hold on, wait. I gotta soak that up first. I gotta see where I stand. So now, Yeah. So you believe happy wife, happy life? Oh, damn. Listen, we're here to help you out, brother. So we're here to get the household back in order, according to God. Because God has the marital household, the children, everything in order according to His word. So we have to start asking, what does God say about marriage? What does God say about my dress code? What does God say about what I eat? We never ask that question. We just go into Piggly Wiggly, into Golden Corral, into all these places, sit down and eat all kind of swine and shrimp, not knowing God says what's on your plate is an abomination. Okay, read that again. Top.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
What do women wear that belongs to men? Think about it. What you say, brother? Say it again, brother. Say it loud. Pants. Say it with your chest. Pants. Say it loud. Pants.
That's right.
Okay. But let's keep reading.
Neither shall
So it says neither. So it's not dealing with just a woman. It says neither
shall a man put on a woman's garment.
So what garment do belong to women that men put on? What you say, sis? Oh, right out the gate. So question, have you ever went to see a Tyler Perry movie?
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Tyler Perry is a billionaire, correct? He made his money off of dressing up like a woman. Well, let's see what God says.
For all that do so,
Read it again. Neither
shall a man put on a woman's garment.
So God commands a man is not to put on a woman's garment. So Tyler Perry, Martin Lawrence dressing up like Shanae, you name it, A$AP Rocky, Jamie Foxx, Young Thug put on a wedding dress in this video. Let's see how God feels about that.
For all that do so,
From men that wear dresses, women that wear pants,
are abomination unto the Lord thy God.
we as a people, we have to feel sick of being an abomination. We have to feel some kind of way every time we transgress or break God's commandments. God says it's an abomination for a woman to be in pants and an abomination for a man to be in a dress. Because all that do so are cross-dressing and is a sin against God. God says it's a disgusting sin. 2 Corinthians 6:17. So here we have it. We read about unclean food. We're reading about dress codes. God says there's something that we have to do as a people.
Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate.
So here's what went to the brother's point earlier about us gathering together. We gather together when we gather leaving the others out.
That's right.
Leave out their ways, leave out their customs. Guess what? Christmas ain't our custom. Christmas belongs to the nations that from here. Easter is not our custom. Passover is. The Feast of Tabernacles is. God gave us more high holy days in the Bible than the white man gave us here in America. Y'all understand that? So we shouldn't be celebrating our birthdays. How many of y'all like to celebrate your birthday? Guess what? God says we shouldn't be doing that, young man, because God gave us way more high holy days to celebrate than your birthday, than Christmas. God gave us these days to celebrate. And guess what? We have a blast and joy. I have more fun celebrating God's high holy days than I did wicked Christmas in the world. Hands down. Read that again.
2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing.
So God says the cross-dressing, focus y'all, the cross-dressing is an abomination, right? Eating the pork, the shrimp, the lobster is an abomination. It's unclean things. God says you got to separate from the ways of the world and don't touch those things anymore. So now when sisters go, give me that 2 Timothy 2 real quick, and I'm going to give it to Captain Matt. When sisters go into their closet to pick out a wardrobe for the day, should it consist of pants any further after hearing the word of God? What you say, sis? You said it shouldn't, right? Simple. It shouldn't. Because now you'll be conscious of the sin that you're committing. Just like in the Old Testament, when we used to sacrifice animals, right? There were sacrifices for sins committed in ignorance, meaning you did not know, right? But then there were those that willfully sinned by worshiping other gods. It was immediate death. There was no sacrifice for idolatry, no sacrifice for adultery, because all of those things are willful. You know you're going to worship another god. You know you're going to sleep with another man's wife. You understand that? Ignorance is things that you are unaware of. So in this time, the Lord has given us mercy to get it right. Give me that Titus chapter 2, verse 11. I'm sorry, Cam. I'm sorry. Titus chapter 2, verse 11. Ready?
Titus chapter 2, verse 11. For the grace of God that bringeth salvation.
So the grace of God, which is the Messiah Christ, brings salvation to us as a people, right? Ready?
Have appeared to all men, teaching us.
So what is this time, this grace period for? Is to teach us. Why are we out here in this time of grace? Is to teach our people. To teach what?
That denying ungodliness
And denying sin. So remember the cross-dressing? We're teaching you to deny that. To no longer stop dressing like men. Because what it does, it puts on a manly spirit. Have you ever seen a woman and a man argue? And her energy meets his energy? Most times surpasses his energy? Why? Because it gives you a manly spirit. The man, when I come to your house and say, hey, who wears the pants in this house? It's supposed to be your husband. It's supposed to be your husband according to God. Physically, literally, and spiritually. It's supposed to be your husband. Read.
teaching us
Teaching us what?
that denying ungodliness and worldly lust.
Worldly lust. Back to earlier on with the money. The grace is a time period where the prophets are going to teach you how to deny the lust of the world, deny the sins of the world. Go ahead.
That we should live soberly.
We now can live soberly. We can be of clear mind. We're not drunk anymore off the ways of the world. Go ahead.
Righteously.
You're going to live righteously. You're not going to learn that in the Christian church. Auntie, you're not going to learn that in the Christian church. Bro, you're not going to learn that in the Christian church. Your pastor send that plate around how many times in the service? Somebody tell me. How many times it go around? You don't go to church? High five. I like you. You all right with me. Don't go to that church. Nah. Let them keep their idolatrous, abominable Babylonian ways. That ain't got nothing to do with us as a people. God didn't give us Baptists. God didn't give us Pentecostal. He didn't give us Jehovah's Witness. He didn't give us those denominations. He said the children of Israel are to keep his commandments with faith in his son Jesus the Christ, the black Messiah. Wait.
That we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world.
we got to live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world. So guess what? Thou shalt not kill is us living soberly.
That's right.
Thou shalt not steal is us living soberly. Women dressing like women is living soberly.
That's right.
Men dressing like men and walking in that spirit. Oh, I got something for you. You said happy. Okay, yeah, I forgot about that real quick. 1 Corinthians 11. Yeah. Supposed to remind me, brother. Come on, man. We can't let stuff like that slide by. Come on. 1 Corinthians 11.
Chapter 11, verse 3.
Come on.
But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
So the head of every Israelite man is Christ. Because Paul is in the church of Corinth talking to the Israelites. From Genesis to Revelation, the Bible is about the Israelites. From Old Testament to New Testament, the Bible is about the Israelites. It doesn't say nothing about African American. It doesn't say anything about Jamaican and Haitian. It doesn't say anything about Southern. No, it don't say no. It says Southern Kingdom. My bad. But read that real quick.
But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
So the head of every Israelite man is Jesus the Christ, the black Messiah. Read.
And the head of the woman is the man.
Wait, read that again.
And the head of the woman is the man. And the head of Christ is God.
So according to God, the order is God, Christ, man, woman, children. You understand that? Okay, my man, he said he agreed with that. All praises to the Lord. Give this brother a round of applause.
Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity.